I wasn't expecting to be claimed like some prize at a country fair. But then again, I wasn't expecting Nathaniel Blackwell to walk straight into my life, wrap an arm around me, and declare to a crowd of strangers that I was his. It was supposed to be just another Friday night at the Maplewood Autumn Festival. The air smelled like caramel apples, cinnamon, and wood smoke. Kids ran past clutching cotton candy. Couples huddled under plaid blankets near the bonfire. I'd come alone, which was pathetic. I knew, but my roommate had bailed, and I'd convinced myself it was fine. The truth? I was lonely. That kind of loneliness that seeps into your bones and makes the laughter of strangers sting. And then I saw him. Nathaniel Blackwell didn't belong here, not in his sharp coat. Not with those polished leather shoes that had never touched a cornfield in their life. He looked like he'd just stepped out of a Wall Street boardroom and into small-town America by accident. But the way he moved, unhurried, self-assured, told me he was exactly where he meant to be. Our eyes met over the pumpkin carving booth. I looked away instantly, but it was too late. His gaze pinned me like I was a page in his favorite book, and he'd just found the line he'd been looking for. I didn't notice he'd crossed the space between us until his hand was on my shoulder. Warm, firm, like it belonged there. "You shouldn't be alone here," he said, voice low enough for only me to hear. I'm fine," I stammered. He smiled, the kind of smile that felt like it knew all your secrets. "Not anymore." Before I could protest, he slid an arm around my waist and faced the small cluster of people nearby. "He's with me." I froze. Maybe it was the way he said it, with finality, with that rich confidence of someone who never heard the word no, but nobody questioned him. They just nodded, smiled politely, and went back to their cider. "What the hell was that?" I hissed the moment we stepped away. "Protection," he said simply, as though that explained everything. I didn't know it then, but Nathaniel Blackwell didn't do anything without a reason. And in that moment, for reasons I wouldn't understand until much later, I had just been marked. We spent the next hour wandering the festival together. He bought me hot cider without asking, handed me a scarf from one of the stalls because he said I looked cold, and somehow made me laugh about the ridiculous size of the prize pumpkins. But there was always this edge to him, a watchfulness. His eyes scanned the crowd between conversations, lingering on certain people before returning to me. It wasn't until I saw the man in the leather jacket, tall, with a scar running from his eyebrow to his cheek, that I realized Nathaniel wasn't just playing some weird alpha role. The guy was following me. I'd noticed him earlier, standing by the apple bobbing station, but now he was trailing us. Nathaniel's arm tightened around me. "Ignore him," he murmured. "Do you know him?" I asked. His jaw clenched. "I know trouble when I see it." By the time the festival lights began to fade into night, the man was gone. But the knot in my stomach remained. Nathaniel walked me home, not to my car, not to the main street, but to my actual apartment door, as though he'd always known where I lived. When I asked how, he just said, "I make it my business to know the things that matter." I should have been creeped out. Maybe I was. But there was something about the way he lingered at my door, his gaze softening for the first time all night, that made my chest ache. "Lock your door," he said. I nodded. "Good." He stepped back, hands in his coat pockets. "I'll see you soon, Eli." I never told him my name. The next week, Nathaniel showed up everywhere I went. Coffee shop? He was in line ahead of me. Grocery store? He was holding the last carton of oat milk I liked and just happened to hand it over. I told myself it was coincidence. Until Saturday night, when someone tried to force my apartment window open. The police came and went, taking a statement and leaving me with a sinking feeling in my gut. I hadn't even finished locking the window when there was a knock at my door. Nathaniel. He didn't ask. He just stepped inside, checked every lock, every window, and then with a calm that made my pulse race said, "Pack a bag. You're staying with me." I stared at him. "You can't just." "I can." His eyes locked on mine. "And I will. Because keeping you safe isn't optional." Something in me broke then, the wall I'd been holding up since the night at the festival. "Why?" My voice cracked. "Why me?" He was silent for a long moment. Then, almost reluctantly, he said, "Because the moment I saw you, I knew I couldn't let anything touch you, and that scares the hell out of me. Living with Nathaniel was like stepping into another life. His loft was all clean lines, warm lighting, and windows that caught the city skyline. He worked long hours, but when he was home, his attention was like sunlight, warm, steady, and inescapable. There were moments cooking breakfast together, his hand brushing mine when he passed the salt that felt almost domestic. Almost safe. But there was still that shadow. I caught him making late-night phone calls in the kitchen, his voice low, his back tense. Once, I woke up to find him sitting in the living room, staring out the window like he was waiting for something. And then the man with the scar came back. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.